Welcome to the Fishbowl. I'm Jade, and first and foremost, thank you for giving me your time because time is one thing people can never get back. And the fact that you chose to spend a piece of yours here with me tonight truly means something. So before we begin, go ahead and put on your scuba gear because here at the Fishbowl, we don't stay on the surface. We dive deep into the conversations people feel emotionally, but don't always know how to say out loud. And tonight's conversation is called Why Won't They Choose Me? Because whether people admit it or not, this is a question a lot of people quietly ask themselves, especially late at night, after another failed connection, another talking stage, another breakup, another wedding invitation, another engagement post, another holiday spent alone, another moment of wondering. What is it about me that keeps getting overlooked? And socially, we are living in a time where relationships are constantly in our faces. Every scroll shows somebody getting engaged, getting married, taking matching vacation pictures, building families, posting anniversary captions. And after a while, people start comparing their real lives to everybody else's highlight reels. And if you stay single too long, society quietly starts treating singleness like a problem that needs to be solved. People begin asking uncomfortable questions. Why are you still single? You're too attractive to not have somebody. Maybe your standards are too high. Maybe you're too independent. And slowly, people begin internalizing the idea that if love has not happened yet, then maybe something is wrong with them. And that pressure becomes even heavier for people who feel like they are behind in life because society created invisible timelines for love, timelines for marriage, timelines for children, timelines for settling down. And when people look around and everybody else appears to be moving forward romantically, they begin feeling like they missed their moment, like love has an expiration date. And sometimes that fear alone causes people to settle for relationships that drain them emotionally, simply because they are terrified of being alone. But tonight, I want to challenge that thinking because being single is not always loneliness, and being chosen is not always love. Some people are in relationships right now, feeling emotionally neglected every single day. Some people sleep beside somebody who does not truly see them. Some people are loved publicly but ignored privately. And some people stay in unhealthy relationships because they are more afraid of loneliness than they are of losing themselves. And another hard truth is this: there is a difference between attention and intentional love. Some people are desired physically, complimented constantly, entertained temporarily, but never pursued intentionally, never valued deeply, never loved with consistency. And after a while, that kind of inconsistency can make people question their worth because rejection has a way of making people personalize things that were never fully about them. And psychologically, humans are wired for connection. So, of course, loneliness can hurt, but loneliness can also become a mirror because silence forces people to sit with themselves. And sometimes people are not afraid of being alone. They are afraid of what they will feel when everything becomes quiet, unresolved trauma, abandonment wounds, insecurity, fear of not being enough, fear of aging alone, fear of never being fully seen. And instead of healing those wounds, many people try to escape them through relationships. And that is where self abandonment begins. People start changing themselves to become more choosable, lowering standards, ignoring red flags, overgiving, overperforming, pretending they need less emotionally than they actually do, shrinking themselves just to keep somebody interested, and little by little, they lose pieces of themselves trying to avoid rejection. But real love should never require you to betray yourself to receive it. And in the words of Karen White, I'm never going to be a fool for love. I'd rather be alone. Just give it up. Don't make no sense to be in love and be here unhappy. And that's the part people don't talk about enough. Everybody wants to be chosen until they realize being chosen does not always mean being valued, respected, understood, or emotionally safe. Some people are in relationships feeling lonelier than they ever felt alone. Some people stay because they are afraid to start over, afraid of judgment, afraid of loneliness, while silently losing themselves trying to hold on to love that no longer feels healthy. But choosing yourself is not selfish. Protecting your peace is not selfish. Walking away from emotional unhappiness is not failure. Ladies and gentlemen, you can absolutely be chosen and still be unhappy. So before you beg for love, before you settle just to say you have somebody, make sure you are not abandoning yourself in the process because the wrong relationship can cost you your peace, your confidence, your identity, and your mental health. And sometimes what people think is love is actually trauma attachment because chaos can become familiar to people raised in emotionally unstable environments. Some people confuse inconsistency with passion, emotional unavailability with mystery, struggle with chemistry. And when healthy love finally appears, it can feel unfamiliar, even boring, because peace feels strange to nervous systems that became addicted to survival mode. And maybe that is why some connections do not happen when we want them to, because timing matters, healing matters, emotional readiness matters. Sometimes people meet after both individuals have finally grown into who they were supposed to become. And maybe some connections are delayed because both people are still healing, still evolving, still learning themselves before they can fully love somebody else correctly. And maybe that is the deeper lesson tonight. Stop asking, why has nobody chosen me? And start asking, have I chosen myself? Have I healed enough to recognize healthy love when it arrives? Have I spent time truly learning who I am outside of validation? Because the goal is not just to be chosen, the goal is to be loved correctly, fully, intentionally, peacefully, honestly. And one day, after all the healing, all the lonely nights, all the moments where you questioned your worth, all the times you felt overlooked, you may meet somebody who looks at you and asks, where have you been? Not because you arrived late, but because some people find each other after they finally stop abandoning themselves just to avoid being alone. And maybe being single is not punishment. Maybe this season is preparation. Maybe this is where your standards are being built, your confidence is being restored, your boundaries are being strengthened, and your heart is learning the difference between temporary attention and real intentional love. Because your value was never determined by your relationship status, and the right person will never require you to prove why you deserve to be loved. This has been The Fishbowl with Jade. Thank you for diving deep with me tonight. And remember, stay classy, stay curious, and stay ever evolving. Search The Fishbowl with Jade and listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and iHeart.